And because America has receded from leadership in the world. And it's made the world a much more dangerous place. And yet I am here tonight with a word of hope and encouragement. All across Wisconsin, all across this country, people are waking up and help is on the way. This next election is going to come down to three issues: jobs, freedom, and security. Let's start with jobs. I want to take a minute to speak to all the single moms who are here, who are working 2 and 3 part-time jobs, who've had your hours forcibly reduced to 28, 29 hours a week because Obamacare kicks in at 30 hours a week. I want to talk to all the truck drivers, all the machinists, plumbers and electricians, all the union members, all the men and women with calluses on your hands, who've seen wages stagnating year after year after year. Cost of living keeps going up, and yet somehow your paycheck doesn't seem to keep pace. I want to talk to all the young people coming out of school, student loans up to your eyeballs. Scared. Am I going to get a job? What does the future hold for me? And you know, the media, they try to tell us this is the new normal. This is as good as it gets. Well, let me tell you, the men and women of Wisconsin understand that is an utter lie. You know, it's easy to talk. Question is, do you understand the principles and values that made America great in the first place? The heart of our economy is not Washington, D.C. The heart of our economy is small businesses all over the United States of America. If you want to see the economy take off, you take the boot of the federal government off the back of the necks of small businesses. If I am elected president, we will repeal every word of Obamacare. It is the biggest job killer in this country, and in its place, we're going to pass common sense health care reform that makes health insurance personal and portable and affordable and keeps government from getting in between us and our doctors. And we're going to pass a simple flat tax. Where every American can fill out our taxes on a postcard. And when we do that, we should abolish the IRS. We're going to rein in the EPA. And the federal regulators who have descended like locusts on small businesses, killing jobs all across this country. And we're going to stop amnesty and secure the borders and end sanctuary cities and end welfare benefits for those here illegally. And let me tell you what's going to happen when we do all of that. We're going to see millions upon millions of new high-paying jobs. We're going to see jobs coming back to America, coming back from China, coming back from Mexico. We're going to see manufacturing jobs coming back to Wisconsin. We're going to see wages rising for Americans across this country. And we're going to see young people coming out of school with 2, 3, 4, 5 job offers. We'll see morning in America again. The second critical issue at stake in this election is freedom. Amen. You know, the passing just a few weeks ago of Justice Scalia really underscored the stakes of this election. It's not just one branch, but two branches of government hang in the balance. We are one liberal justice away from a radical 5-justice left-wing majority, the likes of which this country has never seen. We are one justice away from the Supreme Court stripping religious liberty from millions of Americans across this country. We are one justice away from the Supreme Court effectively erasing the Second Amendment from the Bill of Rights. We are one justice away from the Supreme Court making us subject to the authority of the World Court and the United Nations and international law and giving up U.S. sovereignty. Now, you know, 2 debates ago, Hugh Hewitt asked everyone a question about the Supreme Court and religious liberty. And Donald Trump turned to me. He said, "Ted, I've known a lot more politicians than you have." In that, he is clearly correct. Donald Trump has been supporting liberal Democratic politicians for 40 years. I have no experience in that. But you know, Donald continued. He said, "Ted, when it comes to the Supreme Court, when it comes to religious liberty, you got to learn to compromise. You got to learn to cut deals with the Democrats and to go along to get along." Well, let me be very, very clear to the men and women of Wisconsin. I will not compromise away your religious liberty. And I will not compromise away your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. The third issue at stake in this election is security. You know, for the last 7 years, we've seen a president who abandons our friends and allies and who shows weakness and appeasement to our enemies. Now again, 2 weeks ago, or two debates ago, Donald Trump explained to all of us, if he were president, he would be neutral between Israel and the Palestinians. Well, let me be very clear. As president, I will not be neutral. America will stand unapologetically with the nation of Israel. And you know, anyone who can't tell the difference between our friends and our enemies, anyone who can't tell the difference between Israel and Islamic terrorists who want to kill us, that raises real questions about their fitness and judgment to be commander-in-chief. You know, for the last 7 years, we've seen our military weakened. We've seen readiness degraded. We've seen morale of the troops plummeting. And you know, as a country, we've seen this before. We've seen another left-wing Democratic president, Jimmy Carter, do the same thing, weaken and undermine the military. And then in January 1981, Ronald Reagan came into office. And what did Reagan do? He cut taxes. He pulled back regulations. We saw millions and millions of new high-paying jobs. It generated trillions in new government revenue. He used that revenue to rebuild the military, and we bankrupted the Soviet Union and won the Cold War. I intend to do the exact same thing with radical Islamic terrorism. We're going to repeal Obamacare, pass a flat tax, pull in the regulators, stop amnesty, and the result is going to be millions and millions of new high-paying jobs, wages rising all over the country. That's going to generate trillions in new revenue for the government, and we will use that revenue to rebuild this military to remain the mightiest fighting force on the face of the planet. No longer will our military be governed by political correctness. We will have a commander-in-chief who stands up and says to the world, we will defeat radical Islamic terrorism. We'll have a president willing to utter the words, radical Islamic terrorism. And if you are a jihadist anywhere on the globe, if you are waging war on the United States and seeking to murder innocent Americans, be fully aware your day of reckoning is coming. We are coming for you, and we are not coming to negotiate. We are not coming to sit down and talk. We're not coming to read you your rights and arrest you. If you are waging war against this country, we are coming to kill you. You know, one of the most shameful aspects of the last 7 years has been this president sending our fighting men and women into combat with rules of engagement so strict that their arms are tied behind their backs, that they cannot fight, they cannot win, they cannot defeat the enemy. That is wrong. It is immoral, and mark my words, in January 2017, it will end. America has always been reluctant to use military force. We are slow to anger. But if and when military force is necessary, we should use overwhelming force, kill the enemy, and then get the heck out. So let's talk a little politics. This has been an interesting year. You know, there's an ancient Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. This political cycle is many things, but boring ain't one of them. You know, a year ago, we started out with 17 candidates on the Republican field. An amazingly talented, diverse, young, dynamic field. What a contrast with the Democrats. I mean, the Democratic field consists of a wild-eyed socialist, with ideas that are dangerous for America and the world, and Bernie Sanders. And over the course of the past year, the primaries did what they're supposed to. They narrowed the field. So that at this point, as we stand here today, there are two candidates and only two candidates who have any plausible path to becoming the Republican nominee, me and Donald Trump. And let me say, what we're seeing here in Wisconsin and across the country is the 65 to 70% of Republicans who recognize that nominating Donald Trump would be a disaster. Nominating Donald Trump elects Hillary Clinton. Hillary wins by double digits. It is tying a giant present and giving it to the Democrats. And by the way, if Hillary Clinton is the next president, the Supreme Court is lost for a generation. The Bill of Rights is put in jeopardy. Our kids are buried in trillions more in debt. And we remain stuck in the same economic stagnation we've seen the last 7 years. Even worse. It cannot happen. And so what we are seeing is we are seeing Republicans uniting behind this campaign. Of the 17 Republican candidates who started, 5 have now endorsed this campaign. Rick Perry and Lindsey Graham and Jeb Bush and Carly Fiorina and Wisconsin's own Governor Scott Walker. And when you throw into that mix Senator Mike Lee and Mark Levin, you are looking at the entire spectrum of the Republican Party, the entire ideological spectrum coming together and uniting. And let me tell you, the last 2 weeks have been an incredible 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, the state of Utah, we hoped to break 50% and earn all the delegates. I'm sorry to tell you, we did not get 51%. We got 69%. And we won every single one of Utah's delegates. Then a couple of weeks later, just a few days ago, Colorado, very different state. 2 different congressional districts voted. They were voting to elect 6 delegates. Out of 6 delegates, we won 6 delegates. And then yesterday, the state of North Dakota at their convention, they selected their delegates. Among the delegates who have stated their support, we won 18. Donald Trump won 1. Now, 18 to 1, I'll take that ratio every day and twice on Sundays. And then tomorrow, it is the turn of the great state of Wisconsin. The entire country, its eyes are on the state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin has a national platform, has a national podium. A victory here tomorrow will resonate across this country, will change the outcome in states to come all across this country. So if you don't want to see Donald Trump as the nominee, if you don't want to see Hillary Clinton as the next president, then I ask you to come out tomorrow and vote for me 10 times. Now look, we're not Democrats. I'm not suggesting voter fraud. But if everyone here picks up the phone and calls 9 other people and you get 9 other people to come out and vote tomorrow, you will have voted 10 times. And let me tell you, maybe you're not yet old enough to vote. You know, if you pick up the phone, if you talk to your friends, if you get 10 other people to vote tomorrow, you will have voted 10 times before you turn 18. That is how we win. This election is going to be decided by the grassroots, by the men and women gathered here, by the courageous conservatives who are coming together, by the same people in Wisconsin who stood shoulder to shoulder with Scott Walker in recount battle after election after election. The people of Wisconsin standing together. If we stand united, we are going to win this nomination. And we are going to win the general election. We are going to beat Hillary Clinton, and we are going to turn this country around. It took Jimmy Carter to give us Ronald Reagan. And I am convinced the most long-lasting legacy of Barack Obama is going to be a new generation of leaders in the Republican Party who stand and fight for freedom, who stand and fight for the Constitution, and who stand and fight for the Judeo-Christian values that built this great nation. Thank you, and God bless you.